Yes, I can. What were you saying about Nick?
As soon as you're clear, I need you to give your mic to Nick.
I can hear you.
Yes, he can. Yes. Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. Kevin, many of the 50 candidates have been here since around 8 a.m. 14 were selected after being questioned by the judge and the attorneys. We had 12 jurors and 2 alternates. But let's rewind to September.
Straight ahead on WJCL News at 6. Jury selection underway in the trial of a man accused of brutally killing a Savannah teen. We are live with the latest developments. Firefighters across the coastal empire remember one of their own killed in the line of duty. Plus,
I'm Nick Notario. The latest on the battle over golf carts in downtown Savannah. Why the city says it missed another ordinance which could put this business out.
And now, WJCL News, working for you.
jury selection today for the man accused of murdering a Savannah teenager last year. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Holmes. Jennifer is on assignment. Today is day 1 of jury selection for Shan Sheely. WJCL's Brandon Livornia has been in the courtroom all day and joins us now live with the latest developments. Brandon?
Kevin, it's been a long day for these jurors. Many of them have been here since about 8 a.m. 12 were just selected with 2 alternates, and it's been a long morning for them. But let's rewind to September 29th, 2012. Sheely tells investigators they had a drug transaction with Amber DeLoach. Now, when he was questioned by investigators, they said, September 30th, firefighters respond to a car fire on Yamacraw Village, where they found DeLoach's car, but her body was wrapped in the blanket in the trunk. Sheely claims that they had parted ways after a drug transaction, and she dropped him off at his car, and they left when she was alive. But investigators found clothing and items that actually belonged to Sheely at the scene of the burned car, as well as surveillance footage of his car leaving the scene just minutes after the 911 call. Now, Sheely has not entered a plea yet. These jurors will decide his fate, whether he'll be guilty or not guilty. But if he does decide to do a plea deal, that could all change, and this could end up wrapping up a lot sooner than many people thought.
All right, thanks, Brandon. And Sheely is not entering a plea. The jurors will find him guilty or not guilty by the end of the trial, unless he reaches a plea agreement with prosecutors, which still is a possibility. Stick with us, as we will have more on this developing story all week. Other news, a vacant house fire has now turned into an arson and homicide investigation. Now the state is offering a cash reward for information. Lieutenant David Jeff Little was fighting a fire Sunday morning when the roof collapsed on him. Little was part of a crew battling flames in a vacant home in Waycross. The state now offering a $10,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest. Meanwhile, firefighters across the state are speaking out after Little's death. Many tell us the loss is not just felt in Waycross, but around the entire area. Fire departments throughout the coastal empire will send representatives to Little's funeral.
Anytime you have a firefighter die in the line of duty, like I said, it's a hit to the family in totality. So Waycross is going to be very busy. There's going to be representatives from fire departments across this state and probably even outside the state.
The Brotherhood of the Firefighters are statewide, is United States wide. Again, it doesn't matter where they're from, their background is the same, and it's just as we lost one of ours right here in Savannah.
There will be a public visitation for Lieutenant Little tomorrow from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. at the Central Baptist Church in Waycross. The address on your screen, 201 Ava Street in Waycross. The memorial service will be at the same place, and that starts Wednesday at 2 p.m. Deputies in Beaufort County searching for the gunman in a weekend shooting that sent a teen to the hospital. It happened Saturday afternoon in the Polk Village neighborhood. Witnesses tell deputies several shots were fired, and when they arrived, they found an 18-year-old man shot in the leg. Anyone with any information, you're asked to contact Crime Stoppers. Deputies in Beaufort County also on the lookout for an armed robbery suspect. The attempted robbery took place around 6 a.m. yesterday at the Family Dollar on Sea Island Drive. Deputies say the would-be robber forced his way inside as an employee stood at the front door. The employee told deputies the alarm system wouldn't stop, so the would-be robber took off with no cash. If you can help in any way, contact South Carolina Crime Stoppers. That number is at the bottom of your screen. Police need your help finding a man who is autistic. 42-year-old Samuel Johnson, who went missing from his home on East 53rd Street, this just after 2 o'clock today. Investigators believe Johnson could be walking or on a bus to an unknown destination. He suffers from seizures and autism. Metro police officers urge citizens not to approach Johnson. He sometimes hits himself in the presence of strangers. Investigators, however, do not believe Johnson is a threat to others. If you can help, call 911. As Congress is set to pass a budget deal on Capitol Hill, one local leader says he can't support it. Congressman Jack Kingston talked about his frustration with the proposal before touring a nursing home in Savannah today. The 2-year deal reached last week would set spending levels, reduce the deficit, and relieve arbitrary forced spending cuts scheduled to hit early next year. But Congressman Kingston says it's a bad deal for Americans.
Bad news is it increases spending, which is why I opposed it. The concern that I have is we've had these multiple-year budget agreements in the past. We've never stick to them. The spending always happens now. The cuts always happen later.
The bill must still pass the House and Senate. If approved, the government would avoid another shutdown in mid-January. We're continuing to follow a story we first broke a few months ago. Savannah city leaders say they made another mistake before allowing a golf cart shuttle company to start up. Now they're asking the Savannah Hoppers to shut down. WJCL's Nick Notario has been following this story from day one. He joins us with the latest developments. Nick, I thought this was a concern over the city not having a golf ordinance.
All right, it is. Yeah, Kevin, like you mentioned, it has been about that. But any of these vehicles that come down and provide shuttle transportations, well, they have to have a state tag, something the carts don't have. And because of this newfound information and the fact there is no cart ordinance, the city has told the company to get those vehicles off the streets.
These golf carts rolled around Savannah streets today, even though they're not supposed to. Last week, city leaders verbally warned Savannah Hoppers to stop operating, and if caught driving this week, they'll cite the business. Actions Charlie Brewer says are unreasonable.
I've got 20 employees, great people. There's been a lot of people crying in here this morning. People out of work, they can't pay their bills right before Christmas.
This didn't happen overnight. Months ago, the city realized it didn't pass a cart ordinance, something the state requires. And until it does, the city has asked the Hoppers to stop. City leaders worry the carts are unsafe and more businesses wanted to open up. Plus, they've received complaints.
I think it was as we were gathering input on all the vehicles out there.
As the city looks to work on its golf cart ordinance, even if it allowed them on the streets, city leaders say Savannah Hoppers still couldn't operate because it would now have to change the shuttle ordinance as well. The golf cart ordinance and the shuttle ordinance weren't addressed when they were getting their business license?
Yeah, and again, it's at that time, it was really sort of us fully understanding the law.
After a year of profitable business, Brewer doesn't understand how now city leaders can make the decision to shut them down.
I think they're pretty incompetent. I think some of them ought to be terminated. They want to terminate my business. I want to see some of the people who have led me down this path be terminated as well.
Until he's given a written notice, Brewer says the plan is to keep rolling.
So we're going until someone from the city officially comes over and tells us to stop.
City Council is expected to make a decision on the cart ordinance sometime in early 2014, but it appears even if Council approves the use of the carts, the shuttle ordinance will keep the Savannah Hoppers grounded. And Brewer says if he does have to shut down, well, he plans to sue the city. So very developing situation. We'll, of course, keep on it for you. But for now, reporting live in downtown Savannah, Nick Notario, WJCL News, working for you.
All right, more to come. Thank you, sir. This weather is playing tricks on my mind. It's like an emotional roller coaster. It's cold. You know, this morning when I got in my car to run errands, it said 37 degrees. And by the time I was on my way back home to get ready for work, it said 70.
Go figure, right? And yeah, we've got some fluctuating temperatures, but Kevin, later in the week, it's going to feel more like we're heading towards St. Patrick's Day rather than heading towards Christmas. It's going to get really warm across our area.
Luck of the Irish.
Yeah, right. Let's take a look out there right now. We have clear skies. It has been a beautiful day And with low humidity, we've seen quite a difference between the morning low and the afternoon high. That will continue to be the case as we head through tonight and tomorrow. Let's take a look at our current numbers out there, and it is cooling off now that it is nighttime. Under a full moon, we've got temperatures already dropping down to the low 50s, including 52 on Hilton Head, 53 in Ridgeland, and 50 right now in Hinesville. Right now in Alma, the temperature is at 53 degrees. Now, as we head through the overnight, we're going to drop down into the 30s most areas. Average low down to 36. So once again, you'll need a jacket first thing in the morning. But we'll have a fairly quick warm up as we head through the day. And I'll detail that as well as give you your forecast all the way through next weekend, coming up in a bit.
Next weekend, it includes Christmas. Thank you, sir. Christmas is still more than a week away, but as Cassidy Land shows us, the post office is gearing up for its busiest days of the year this week.
It's a hectic day, a long day.
Yes, a long day for Postal Service Main Office Manager Mary Fletcher, the busiest of the year, in fact, for the U.S. Postal Service.
On an average day, we process about 538 million pieces of mail plus. Today, we expect to process about 600 million pieces.
But it's not just today. 2013 is expected to be a record-breaking year.
In fact, the Postal Service estimates more than 14 billion cards, letters, and packages will be delivered between Thanksgiving and New Year's Eve, a 12% increase compared with the year before.
And that can mean longer lines and more activity this week at your local post office. John Dees Brookins says she didn't realize how busy this week would be, but she did know it's crunch time to get packages to her family in time for Christmas.
It's very important to me. Christmas is one of my favorite holidays. It's all about family. And since I'm here 8 hours away, I want to at least still show them that I care about them and I still love them and send them stuff like I do every year.
And Fletcher says, just like every year, her team will be ready.
Every 30 minutes, we have a truck leaving, taking letter mail, taking parcel mail, taking Christmas packages, taking express mail. We're going out of the city.
But Fletcher says it's important for customers to pack some patience and be proactive.
Make certain when they send a package that the box is sturdy.
She says if the box is weak or crushed in any way, it may cause it to come open.
Most importantly, we're asking that your name is capitalized, your address is written clearly, and please do not guess at the zip code.
All things you can do to make sure your holidays are filled with happiness, not headaches. In Savannah, Cassidy Lands, WJCL News, working for you.
New Year's Eve, but some lobbies will close at noon on those days. All offices will be closed next Wednesday on Christmas Day and the following Wednesday on New Year's Day. The busiest delivery days for letters will be this Wednesday, and the busiest delivery day for packages will be this Thursday. Ahead on WJCL News at 6, our servicemen and women making the transition into the workplace. Later in our newscast, we'll tell you about an agency that's classified to help with this mission.
Local food banks are very busy during the holiday season. I'm Rob Macco. We'll travel to one local food pantry where they say the need is greater than ever.
And a big-time decision for a big-time recruit. We're headed over to Hinesville later in sports.